behalf of the RDIEC, my name is Jeff Cameron, and it's my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Danielle Gibson, a former student of mine from Alameda, Saskatchewan. Before we begin, in a small introduction for Danielle, I'd just like to remind the students out there who are possibly viewing this right now or are watching it later to enter your name either through the QR code or by going to rdiec.ca. And when entering, you are able to be liable to receive a $25 gift certificate at the end of each month. Danielle, it's a pleasure having you here today, and I just want to thank you very much. I know the fires and the flooding are very much on the minds of all Canadians, and the world is watching closely. So I'm so happy that you're here today to share your story. I'd like you to take it away, please. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm excited to be here. Okay, so I am Danielle Gibson, and I work in Emergency Management BC. I work in the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself first. So I am from Alameda, Saskatchewan, and Jeff is actually my old high school or my old elementary school teacher. I graduated high school in Oxbow, Saskatchewan, and then I moved on and I went to Minot State University, and I went down to the States because I had a softball scholarship, and I went to school for graphic design and marketing, and I received a bachelor's degree in that. And you're probably all wondering how I ended up in accounting, because I went to school for art, basically. But after the university, my sister and I, we decided we were just going to move out to Victoria for the summer. And then I ended up not leaving because I just loved it out here so much. It's just so beautiful out here. And I just like to brag to everyone that I came from a small town of 300 people, and now I'm out here in Victoria, and I work for the provincial government, and I am just loving every minute of it. So I'm pretty excited. So I'm going to talk to you kind of about what EMBC is as a whole, and then I'll talk to you specifically about what my duties are in the finance department. So just a little introduction about EMBC. Emergency Management BC is the lead coordinating agency in the provincial government for all emergency activities. And EMBC's mission is to be responsible for British Columbians for leading the management of provincial level emergencies and disasters, supporting authorities within their jurisdiction. So what that means is we are dealing with all of the emergencies in BC right now. It is crazy. So I never even kind of thought about all the flooding and all of the fires that go on in BC until I received an email every single time there was a flood or a fire going on in the province. It's absolutely crazy, and it's actually really devastating to see all of these people who have lost their homes to fires and floods. And it's just sometimes it can be hard working because you can just see all of the things that you have to supply to these people that they no longer have, and you just feel kind of thankful for what you do have, because it's just like one emergency can ruin your whole life, basically. It's just insane. So the goals of EMBC is you have to make a plan. So there are hundreds of people that work in my ministry. And so we have to send out government employees out to that specific location. We need to help them. We need to save these people from what's going on. And then we need to prepare emergency supplies. What do these people need? They need food, they need shelter, they need clothing. what else can we get them? So, and then we need to find guides and resources. So do these people need gas to get somewhere else to stay with a family member? What can we do? And then finally, after this disaster has happened and everything's going on, financial assistance is going to happen. So basically, where I come into play in the financial role is that we have to set budgets and figure out how much we have to give each person to be able to fight through this, and like what we have to pay for them to be able to move on and get a hotel room or get food or whatnot. Okay, so I just want to show you a couple of pictures. So what's going on in BC right now? So these are a couple of pictures of the wildfires that I'm actually dealing with right now. So this is Lytton. I don't know if you guys have heard about Lytton, what happened to them this summer. Their entire town burnt to the ground. It was a heat wave and it was just absolutely scorching weather. I can't even believe how hot it was this summer. We couldn't even sleep in our upstairs because it was just boiling, and these poor people, they only had 15 minutes basically to get out of their town and had what they had on their backs. So that's just a couple of pictures of what was happening in that top picture on the right hand side. I don't know if it's on your guys' right or not, but that's actually during the day. So that is all the smoke and everything like covering the sun, and you cannot see anything, and it just burned their entire town. And I just felt so devastated for these people, and we are actually dealing with them still, still giving them the ability to stay in a hotel, still paying for their clothing, like whatever they need to survive, basically, because I had nothing, and they don't even have their IDs on them anymore. So we have to go through that whole process as well. Okay, and this next slide is showing our flooding in BC, and this is crazy because these are actually the ones on the right here. These are actually near my house. So this Malahat, the top photo here, showing like all the water that just broke off the side of the mountain, and that is our main road for all of our supplies to come to the island. So why I'm working from home right now is because we have a gas shortage, and we have a food shortage as well. It's actually getting better now, but our main road here was cut off, and they're fixing it as we speak. So that's pretty intense. And the bottom picture there is just a picture of one of the markets that was flooded, and a couple of streets by my house were actually really flooded as well, but we got lucky and our house didn't get it. But and then the picture on the left, that is actually Merritt, BC. That's on the mainland, and they are dealing with the floods, and they are actually dealing with evacuees from the fire and the floods now. So they're panicking because they have no way of getting food supplied to them or anything. So we're actually flying it to the stores. And so it's just a little bit crazy there because they have evacuees in their hotels that are from the fires and the floods. So that's a little bit difficult for Merritt right now. I just wanted to share that picture with you guys. Okay, so accounts payable and financial claims clerk, that is what my title is. And so what accounts payable is we pay large volumes of outstanding invoices to third-party suppliers for the goods and services that have not been received, or they have been received, sorry, and they have not been paid for. And then we have to prepare, checks have to be prepared to be sent to these suppliers. And so exactly what I want to talk to you about is, so a supplier is, for example, a grocery store or hotels or clothing stores or gas stations. So they are signed up with the BC government and saying, yes, we will supply the supplies for these people as long as you guys are paying us the money for it. So what happens is we receive thousands and thousands of invoices from all of these suppliers for all the supplies they've given out for free, basically, to these people to help them out. And then we have to pay them back. So my specific, my specific duties during my day is I am auditing and revising evacuee referral forms and invoices from the suppliers. So they send us boxes and boxes of invoices, and I have to go through each individual one to make sure that the referral form for the evacuee matches up to the receipts. We have to make sure that there's no alcohol or tobacco on these receipts, because then I audit them and say, no, we're not paying for that. That is not essential to what is happening here. You don't need that at a restaurant right now. I mean, maybe you do, but but then afterwards, I enter data into our financial system. Sometimes that can get a little bit boring in accounting, but you know what? I love it, and you're helping people out. And like my boss says, if we're paying people who have lent out their homes, like a billet, so it's kind of like we're playing Santa. We're giving them the money for people staying in their homes, so that's kind of fun and nice. And sometimes they're so happy and thankful. Thank you so much. They send us emails saying we're so happy that you guys gave us the money to support these people, and it feels really good. So then after and then I have to help sometimes when I'm in the office. I help go through the mail. We got to sort it all out. And then there's different levels of government. So the R9s, which is just a basic entry level job, what they do is they also take the mail and they scan it into the system. And then we audit it online and then enter the financial data into the system. Another duty is contacting the suppliers. So if there's anything wrong with the receipts or there's missing information, we have to contact them and say, hey, we have this information missing. I need you to send me everything I need so I can get this paid. So this is our government office workload. So my boss actually let me take these photos. These are actually just in the last couple of months of piles of invoices that we've received. And these ones have all been scanned in and are ready to be audited and entered into the system. But I just think it's insane because people, if you are thinking, oh, it takes so long to get money from the government, well, this is why, because there's thousands and thousands of invoices that we have to look through. So it's pretty crazy. It's a heavy workload, and sometimes it can get stressful, but you just got to work through it one page at a time. And yeah, this is just another picture of our office, like just in the storage space of all the invoices that we have to archive into the boxes after. Okay, and here's a picture of me working from home in my pajamas. I love it. So working hours. Regular working hours are Monday to Friday and 8 to 4:17. Tons of overtime. It's insane. Well, what I always like to say, disasters never stop, but make sure that you do. It's really easy to overwork yourself when there's so much work to be done, but your mental health is definitely more important. I am a person who has anxiety, so sometimes I like push myself and then I get worked up, and then I'm like, okay, no, you need to stop working and just relax for 2 minutes. And then we have flex days, which is what I am on today. Flex days are important, but they're also a bonus. So why I work from 8 to 4:17, which is a little bit weird. We work an extra 17 minutes every single day and get every second Friday off, or Monday, whichever you prefer. It's a huge bonus. Like I really appreciate it because you're working so hard, and sometimes you could be working 10-hour days, you can work 12-hour days, you can work weekends, you can do whatever you want. But the good thing about government is if you are working on your flex day, if you decide to work on your flex day or you decide to work on a weekend, you get paid double time, not time and a half, you get paid double time, which is really cool. And I love that part about it. Okay, so I kind of wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the government hiring process. So it is a lot more complicated than just handing in your resume. So right now, I actually work on a TA, which is a temporary assignment. I'm an auxiliary employee. So they were actually looking for anyone who had accounting experience, and I did from my last position, and they hired me on board without going through the process because of how much work was needed to be done. They were just like, no, we need someone who has accounting experience. Let's get someone in. So I did, in this case, hand in my resume, but I only can work there for 6 months. So March 30th is my last day at EMBC. So I'm actually been applying for other positions and going through this process. So step one, your resume and screening questionnaire process. So what you have to do is on the government website, you have to search for a job, whatever job interests you. And then you, sorry, then you just enter your resume into the system. And then you're going to have to go through screening questionnaires. Sometimes they don't even look at your resume. They go by the screening questionnaire because they want to know what's different about you. What stands out about you compared to everybody else? Hundreds of people are applying. So what can you do in this questionnaire to make yourself sound like you're better than everybody else? And if you get screened through for that first step, you will be sent a congratulations email, and you will have to do a written assessment. And every hiring manager is completely different. There's a different test. You don't know anything about it. You don't know what's going to be on the test. They're just going to send it to you, and then you're going to do the test, send it back to them. And then if you pass that, then you get an interview. So the interview, they like to do the STAR tactic, which is situation, task, actions, and results. So they're going to ask you questions about how you dealt with a certain situation. And they want to know what the task is. So what did you have to do? And what action did you take? And then they want to know the results. So what happened and what can you learn from that situation? And so they actually mark you on each situation, task, action, results. They mark you on that. So it's a little tip for you guys if you're ever wanting to get into the government. If you are outside the government, you would have never really known the STAR tactic in an interview process. I didn't, and now I do. So hopefully when I do my interviews, I do the STAR tactic well. So yeah, in March, I will be ending this one. So hopefully I get into a different position. So perks of being a government employee. It's amazing opportunity for success. So there's so many different things that you could do in the government. It's crazy. I could actually apply for what I actually went to school for, graphic design. There are many different opportunities, and there's always room for growth. And they actually will pay you to go to your other interview if you want to move up in the government. It's crazy. So they're like, no, you go to your interview. They encourage you to move up in the government if you want a higher position. It's just to better yourself and better your career. And it's really amazing, I think, because not a lot of other jobs will say, hey, I see you're applying for another job. That is not okay on my time. So it's actually really good to be able to do that. So it's great hours, paid vacations, salary. It's a great salary. If you like, even starting the base wage is pretty good as well. Flex days, those are great. Paid sick days, and you get a large pension when you're done. And also the ability to work from home and working with my coworkers. These are my two little wiener dogs that are sitting by the fire actually as we speak. So yeah, that's what I get to look at when I'm at home working. So it's all good. And that is the end of my presentation for questions and answers.
Well, Danielle, firstly, I'd just like to thank you so much on behalf of our team and on behalf of the kids in Saskatchewan, and for any of the people that are tuning in to watch us. The pictures that you showed us there of the disasters kind of churned my stomach, kind of made me sick looking at that. And when you think of the people that were misplaced because of that, it's unbelievable. And you are certainly making a difference in the lives of many people. And I know people get anxious and wondering why things are not showing up. But when you look at the number of invoices that you have to actually deal with, in the pictures that you showed us, it's a little bit overwhelming. You covered everything so well. I'd just like just one question for you here.
Yeah.
All the kids out here, and I know in the Southeast, some of them get stuck in a rut, and you know, we have oil and farming, and in Saskatchewan in general. I'm not saying they all get stuck in a rut, but what would you tell the kids in high school that are watching this about life in general and getting a job and moving away?
I would say do it, move away, because I got stuck in a rut too, and I had no idea what I wanted to do as a kid. And sometimes I still don't know what I want to do. You just kind of, sometimes it's who you meet. It is just taking a step. I said to my sister, you know what, let's move to Victoria. And I only had planned on moving here for the summer. And I ended up staying because there's just so much more opportunity out here than in my small town. I mean, no offense, I love my small town, but there was nothing for me there. And yeah, sometimes you do feel stuck and you just you got to explore and see what's out there. And if you just got to take that step, just go do it. If you're thinking about it, do it. And it doesn't matter if you don't know what you want to do, because it'll guide you there. And that's what I have to say.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Mrs. Edgar, do you have anything you'd like to mention?
No, it was, wow, what a powerful presentation, Danielle. I think it's going to hit home with a lot of students. You know, we do have issues or you know, events like that happening out in the province too, and you don't realize the process that people need to go through in case of disaster. And I think this just shows a different type of job to students that maybe they didn't even know existed. And I think that's the whole purpose of our programs and our spotlights, is to show different pathways and how different things can lead you to these jobs too. So I think you've done an awesome job of highlighting this career and your journey to get there. So thank you so much.